All right, guys, top of the day. Happy April 30th, coming to you alive, feeling great, feeling awake. We've been up, well, I've been up since 4:45. We had an intensity session at 6 a.m. this morning. And so this guy, look at Ashley blinking. She's like, okay. Listen, you guys, I know you're tired. I know that you got shit going on. I know that you have troubles in your life. I know that you have drama, you have trauma. Listen, you're not alone. We're all in the same boat of life. But I'll tell you what, you got dreams. You got goals, you got aspirations.
Hey, love
So
you, my love.
listen, whoever's talking right now, can you please mute yourself?
Nicole, please mute yourself.
Nicole, can you mute yourself? You're still not muted. Okay. All right. So sorry. I don't know where I was, but at the end of the day, we all have shit we're going through, you guys. But we have dreams, we have goals, we have families, we have people that are relying on us to be successful despite whatever else is going on in our life. And so find a way to dig deep and to work your ass off this summer. So I'm gonna have somebody bring us out on the field, and this person's gonna set the tone, set the sentiment. And Glenn, it's gonna be you this morning, my man, because I've missed your face, I've missed your sentiment. I miss your kind words as always. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do things a little bit different. Glenn, I'm going to go over to you. I'm going to have you bring us out on the field, but I want you to share with the group what you feel separates you and makes you such an amazing agent and why consumers choose you. So Glenn, I'm going to do some self-edification, or you're going to do some self-edification. So I'm going to go over to you, Glenn, set the tone, set the sentiment, and let's bring the troops out on the field and into battle. Let's roll.
Yeah, it's interesting. Thanks, Elias, and good morning. The other day I received an email from a member of our team who said, "Hey, look, I see you just closed on this transaction. Would you work with that agent, and should we reach out to them?" And my response was, "Hell no." And the interesting part of that is that I think about why I wouldn't want to work with them and why I don't think they're right for our team. And I approach everything I do with transparency, authenticity, and heart. If I can't do it with those three things, it's not worth it for me to do it. Because every minute that I spend working on my business and working with my clients is a minute that I take away from spending it with my husband or my son or my grandmother or my sister. And so if I can't do it with my full heart in it, then I don't want to do it. And I could tell that so many people just go through this life as a paycheck, and that's not what this is to me.
Wow. And it truly, truly shows how you show up for us, how you show up for your consumers, how compassionate you are, and how much you truly, truly care. So, Glenn, it's evident. We see it. I think that when I look around at what you do, like you're a walking embodiment of how you truly, truly want to serve your consumers. And so, my man, I really appreciate that sentiment.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. And Vernon, there's some congratulations in order. Go ahead, man, share that.
I got into contract with my first flex deal with the team fast yesterday, which is
Oh,
th this is freaking amazing. She's a first generation home buyer, has an adult special needs daughter, and I met her at like 7:30 in Richmond, and she was not expecting some white guy in brown wingtips and a sports coat to walk around the corner and was not going to sign the BRBC with me because I didn't fit what she felt would be the right agent for her. And before walking in that home, I said, "Look, I'm going to leave this part blank that says how many days I'm going to represent you, because we're going to walk around this house. I'm going to give you this form, and at the end of this day, at the end of this tour, you're going to write in how many days." And I said, "But I guarantee you're going to love me by the time we're through." And we came out, and she said, "What's the most number of days that I can put in that spot?"
ah,
Let's go, Glenn. Let's go.
oh,
You know what? You know what I love about this, and you guys have heard me say this term before. I always look for the turn, meaning that the time where a consumer is like this, great, Glenn, I'm not signing anything, to where they're finally like this. And what that means is that they're out of their reptilian mind. Their reptilian mind is fight or flight. You're a salesperson. I'm not going to give you anything. And then when they're in their neocortex, that means that they can think and they can feel, and they associate, their heart to how they're operating and how they're communicating. And that happens sometimes on the first home, happens on the second home, sometimes shit happens on the third, and then finally they turn. So Glenn, I'm really, really happy for you. And why wouldn't they love you? right? It's hard not to.
Oh, shucks. I can't wait to tell this story. I'll tell the full story online for sure, but love being part of this team and super stoked to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful. Vernon, anything you want to share on that thread?
Just one word that stood out to me in or that you operated in, Glenn, from the very beginning is confidence. You were confident by leaving that field blank on how many days they wanted to work with you. That was confidence to say, you know what? At the conclusion of this engagement, with my proven process, I'm going to let you fill that number in. That was confidence, man. And that is what produces. I'm so proud of you, man. You've been showing up, you've been contributing, bro. And to see you win, that shit makes me so happy, man. So let's go. Let's
And
go.
I handed her the paper. She carried that form around with her the entire tour. I said, you give her control, right? I could tell she wanted some control. There it is. You got it.
God, I absolutely love this. Remember what I always say, you guys, and for some of you who've heard this time and time again, and for the new people on the call, the one that has the most certainty in communication is the one that has the most influence, right? He didn't buckle. He went in there with confidence. He went in there with certainty, and that's who had the most influence. So well done. Great job, Glenn. I expect nothing less from you. So let's go into this. We're going to talk about the market in a moment. I'm glad that Ashley's here. I'm glad that Jeff is here. And I'm glad that each of you are here to share your thoughts, your sentiments, and your vantage point of what you're experiencing in the market right now. So here's the reality of what is going on in our market right now. High level. High level is that there is some uncertainty amongst our buyers right now. But once again, this is a season. We have had uncertainty from buyers every single year that I've been in business. And you guys know all the things that happen, COVID and interest rates and the settlement. There's always going to be something. Well, right now, the consumers are a little fearful about the economy. And at the end of the day, we have to understand it, respect it, but also know that this is going to pass just like everything else. And so when we think about what's happening, obviously goods are going up. The price of goods on Amazon is going up significantly. We're hearing that left and right. Obviously, the conversation about tariffs, what's happening, and then the wine industry. Right? Let's talk about the wine industry. Vernon's a wine connoisseur. We have people that serve the wine country market, but the wine industry, Canada has stopped importing wine from the United States. Okay, they're taking a stance on this, and we're not going to import any wines from the States, in particular where we are, Napa, Sonoma County, or that's going to be impacted and affected. And some of these local wineries, that's 10, 20% of their overall, retained dollar as a company. And so we're hearing all these things, we're experiencing all these things, but at the end of the day, people are still needing to move. They're still needing to sell their home. They're still needing to buy a home despite all the things going on. But it's important that you actually understand that you're reading and you can at least have some dialogue with your consumers. But let's put all that aside for just a moment. Okay. I want to push all that aside for a moment. The tariffs, Amazon, wine, China, all of that, right? And at the end of the day, America voted. Now, I don't think we voted for exactly what's happening in our economy right now, but I'm not going to get into a political conversation. We made our decision, and now we sit with our decisions. But here's my recommendation, here's my thoughts, and here's my challenge to everybody that's on this call and everybody that will see this call in the future. Over the next 60 days, what is imperative for each of us to do is to lock in. What each of us need to do is say, okay, despite what's going on, I'm not out here to convince people for all the reasons why they should buy. I'm not here in the convincing you or talking you into the game. That's not my role. My role and my responsibility is to be so active that what I'm doing is I'm still finding those people that have an impending event, that need to move, need to purchase no matter what's going on in our economy. So what I want to encourage everybody to do is to lock in. And I made some notes here and I want to share this with you. So in May and June, for the next 60 days, what I need each of you to do is I need you guys to be heads down and have blinders on. Literally, I'm going to lock in, my head is down, and I'm just going to work my ass off for the next 60 days. And I'm going to do a 60-day sprint for my business. Stop chasing all the tech tools. Stop chasing all the new distractions. I am not going to live in shiny object syndrome, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to lock in. So don't chase shiny opportunities or shiny objects, chase opportunities. And this is the mindset that I want each of you to have for the next 60 days. We need to buckle down. We need to dial the leads that are active. And if you are a team member right now, and if you go into Follow Up Boss right now, there is thousands and thousands of leads that have looked at a house in the last 24 hours and have zero communication from a realtor. Zero communication. So when we think about, oh, with the buyers and tariffs and all these things, yeah, that happens to a lot of people. And unfortunately, that is a concern for a lot of buyers out there. But right now, in our own database of thousands and thousands of people, there's hand raisers. There's people that are looking around. There are people that are looking at homes online every single hour. And we are not saying, hi, Vernon, how you doing? You had a question about that house. Let me answer it. They're window shopping and nobody's saying, hi, how can I help you? Nobody's doing that. So what I want you guys to do is dial leads that are active. I want you to deepen relationships, meaning how can I make my relationships better? How can I dive into my consumer database? How can I make sure that their journey is even better? How can I have conversations about the market to help them be aware of the reality of waiting? Or maybe it's best for them to wait. I don't know, but how can I deepen those relationships? How can I lead with education? Lead with advocacy? How can I bring light to everything that is going on and help them see past all of the headlines? How can I, in the next 60 days, market like my life depends on it? Market like my life depends on it. Market like my business depends on it, right? Some of you are fucking sleeping on your marketing, not creating social media content, not getting into your database, not sending your newsletter, not getting out, passing out flyers, door hangers, all the things that you know you need to do. So you need to right now market like your life depends on it. Double your reps, right? If normally you're making 20 calls a day, then you need to be making 40. If you normally knock on 0 doors for an open house, guess what, Kimosabi? You need to start knocking on some doors. We had a veteran agent on Intensity this morning who has done tons of business in the Bay Area. Never once knocked on doors for open houses. And when I heard that, I was fucking mind blown. Mind blown. So double your reps. Post daily. Engage. Show up louder than your competition. And I'm going to say this one more time for the people in the back of the room. Post daily. Engage. Show up louder than the competition. This is a race to see who can outmarket each other. And you guys have all of the resources, all of the guidance, all the support, all the coaching to be the best at marketing. So what I want each of you to do is I want you to post daily, engage, show up louder than the competition. Work out. And when I say work out, I don't care if you're doing 75-day hard. I don't care if you're walking daily. I don't care if you're just lifting some light weights. Fucking move your ass. Create vitality in your life. Create and manufacture energy because you are driven by making sure that this temple and this body is in crisp, clean shape. Eat healthy over the next 60 days. You want to run a high-octane business, you need to run a high-octane body. So work out. Stay sharp. Read. Each of you should be doing Pomodoro effect, 25 minutes of reading, no distractions, put your head down, read about the market, read about economics, read about what's driving consumer behavior, learn about what's happening locally, learn about what's happening nationally, and educate yourself so you can have rich conversation, a rich dialogue with your consumers. Don't socialize in the office. Now, I want you to go to the offices, but what I want you to do is walk into those doors with intention. I'm going to the office from 10 to 2 o'clock and I have an intention. I'm going in that room. I'm going in that corner. I'm making X amount of calls. So don't go to the office to socialize and see your homies. We all love you. We'll see you. But at the end of the day, you got fucking children to feed. You got goals to accomplish. You got a house that you're trying to buy for your mother. So when you go into the office, don't socialize. That's the time where you're going into the office to work. So walk into the office with intention and walk out feeling accomplished. Walk out feeling accomplished. Like, what did I actually do with my time in the office? And if you don't feel accomplished, if you didn't accomplish anything, and if all you did was socialize, then maybe you shouldn't go to the office. Now, do I want you in the office? Do I like you in the office? Do we want to see your beautiful smiling faces? 100%. And let's not get it twisted. But what I want us to do for the next 60 days is to lock in. We will smoke the market. I don't care about the conditions, the patterns, the nuances. This is all about action. And those that own it and those that say, I'm going to take these skills that I have, my God given talents, and I'm going to double down on my efforts and I'm going to lock in for the next 60 days because I will have a great summer. I will go on vacation with my family. I will go to Italy. I will be able to provide Christmas presents for my entire family. I will. Nothing's going to stop me. I don't give a shit if the interest rates go to 10%. Somebody's going to buy a house. That's my thoughts. That's my sentiment. I would love to hear your guys' feedbacks, thoughts on that messaging for this morning. Feel free to raise your hand, get involved in this conversation. Would love to hear from you. And listen, I'm passionate about this message because I know what can happen in 60 days of us truly, truly locking in. Anybody have any thoughts? Anybody have any sentiment that they want to share, contribute? Is that a little hand, Ashley? Was that just a little hand there? All right, let's go, Ash.
All right, I'm just going to give you guys some ammo to go out there and market with. I'm going to drop this first one in the chat. This is all the reasons across time that people said the market was going to crash. So all the reasons that the market is going to crash year by year. And then the next chart is when it actually did go down a little bit and how it came back up after that. It only went down a little bit between 2008 and 2011. Every other year, the market has gone up, despite everyone saying every year the house is going to crash because, and this is by Logan Monashari from Housing Wire, shadow inventory, COVID-19, mortgage forbearance, 7% interest rates. There's always going to be a reason people are out there. The market's going to crash. The market's going to crash. So this shows them, hey, look, here, everybody's always been saying that, but look at the facts, look at the reality, look at what the housing market has actually done over time. And then what I've been doing is I've been sending people this article. I'll also drop it. It talks about how 44% of sellers are giving credits right now. So if you can show them historically, the housing market is a good investment if you're buying and holding. And right now, sellers are willing to make a deal with you. It's getting buyers to see the opportunity.
God, I absolutely love this. Judith, can we take those documents? Can we put them in our coaching channel in Slack? Because I think this is really, really powerful stuff. I'm taking this article now. I'm sending it to myself. I think that's some really good opportunities for a video here too. So Ashley, really, really good contribution. Let's go over to Evangeline. Evangeline, you had your hand up. Not sure what part of the conversation you want to contribute, but let's hear from you.
Just the conversation like regarding the market. I mean, I think it's good to have your facts and figures when we're speaking to the consumer. It shows you're really data driven. But lately my conversations have just been really human of like, look, regarding what's going on with the market, real estate really follows the cycles of life, right? I mean, May is coming up here, June, you have graduations, people are downsizing, you got marriages and wedding season, people got to upsize, people are moving for their kids, right? People die, people get divorced. So, there's always going to be a demand, and you have to, as a seller, you have to meet that demand with supply. And so far, leading with that, people can understand that, and they get a little bit less fearful knowing that, like, look, life's going to continue on regardless of what's going on in our economy, in our market, what have you. So that's been a good conversation I've been having with consumers so far.
Solid dialogue. Would love to hear anybody else get involved in this conversation. Who has a thought, a vantage point from what I shared or anything else that Ashley shared, Evangeline? Who else wants to get involved in the conversation? If I don't get hands up, I'll start calling out people. We'll do some hot seat around the room. Let's go, Brandy. Brandy, what do you got for him?
Just a small little sentiment, because it goes with like pretty much anything. It's like you need somewhere to live, right? Just like we need to eat, like regardless of how bad fast food is, people go and buy fast food. So it's like you need somewhere to live. Fill yourself with enough information to be able to let your consumers eat, because we all got to eat. So I don't know. That was my sentiment on that, because I mean, you're gonna live somewhere. So are you like, the conversations that I've been having recently have been like, because I'll have like people have some comments, and I don't know if it's some of my friends, and I don't know if they're just trying to pique interest to see what I say. But I say, are you open to a conversation? Because I'm not gonna get into a battle back and forth of arguing. Can you be open-minded? And that's where I go. I say, well, you need somewhere to live, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, just like you need food to eat, what do? You go to the grocery store. And if you're trying to eat healthy, you research, you plan. So you can kind of turn that right into planning for a home.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. One of the best ways to change the narrative with somebody, especially with your friends and family who are always negative for whatever reason, can I offer you a different perspective? Sure. If they say, yeah, you can offer me a different perspective, then it allows you the opportunity to go in and share a perspective like Brandy just shared. At the end of the day, groceries are still expensive, but we got groceries in our house. Eggs are expensive. We eat eggs. Like for the cigarette smokers on the call, man, when I was smoking cigarettes back in the days, it was $2.50 a pack. Okay. Them shits are $11 a pack. And you're crazy if you're still smoking cigarettes. I'm just saying. Hey, let's go, Heather. Heather, what do you got for them?
Sorry, my phone wasn't cooperating. Small sentiment. Other people are working. Why can't that be me? When I have conversations with people, how's it going for you right now? Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm slow. I'm slower now than I ever been, but I'm working on it. Yeah, I've been hearing that from a lot of people. I don't know how you people are, I don't know how you realtors are making it. And I go, well, look, the way I see it, regardless of interest rates or 10% house prices, whatever is going on, there's houses listed. There's people buying. There's movement in the market. And those people are being represented by agents. Why can't that agent be me? So that's the way I look at it. I don't give a shit because I just like every time I see anything, I want that to be me. I want that to be me. I want that to be me. So that's my thought process is just what do I have to do? So that's me. That's me. That's me. And, another thing with the market that I've been telling people is just kind of keeping it casual. Like, yeah, I know it's crazy right now, but next month it's just going to be something else and something else and something else. So, if you're really thinking about making a move, it's not a bad time to just start having some conversations and getting a plan going. So you're ready because, to be honest with you, it's always going to be something.
Yeah, you gosh darn right. It's always going to be something. So I appreciate that sentiment. Anybody else want to share their thoughts and what's going on in the market right now? Anybody have any insights, pocket markets, things that we're doing right now in the market? Anybody else want to roll?
So one thing I just dropped Elias, I just dropped a little statistic I saw this morning that says 6% of homeowners 60 years and older are planning to sell this year. So that's a huge number of people who need to downsize or they can no longer stay in their home because they're physically unable. Right, that's where knocking on doors, they're not going to read your emails, they're not going to see your Instagram posts. Their adult children might, or their grandchildren. So like I'm a SRES certified. I go after my senior clients with my whole heart, and right, that's my target.
Yeah, and like Ashley was saying earlier, there's an impending event, right? There's age, there's size, there's health reasons that they no longer need this size of house. And like here you are, the person that's going to educate and advocate for them and help them with the next stage of their life. We have a good friend in the business that's how she's built her business. I think it's a solid approach to Glenn. I appreciate that. If you can drop that data down below, or if you have not, if you have already,
It's already in the chat. Yep.
Appreciate it. Ashley, you threw your hand up, a little hand again. Was there something that you had to contribute on that? And just if you guys have a contribution, do me a favor, go to the react button down below and throw your hand up so I don't miss this little thing like this. Okay, let's go, Ash.
Think about center of influences, one to many. It makes your job a lot easier if you can build a really good relationship with a probate attorney, with a divorce lawyer, with a tax attorney, someone who just keeps a stack of your cards with them so that when they see their clients and they need somebody, they know someone that they know, like, and trust, and they're willing to give them your information. If you can build rapport with one of those, like a COI, center of influence, if you can do that, your job gets a lot easier forever.
Yeah, Ashley, I'm really glad that you said this because we talked about this briefly in an in-person session a couple of weeks ago. I think that you all have an opportunity to build an FAQ, a high note FAQ for a lawyer, for a probate attorney, for divorce attorney, and say, hey, I love to help, you guys, if you ever run into a challenge with your consumer, I put together this FAQ. So if you ever need any support, give this to your people. I'm not asking them for anything. I'm saying, here's what I can do for you. And if that turns into me getting a referral down the road, then so be it. I love that. Ashley, really, really good advice. Did you have another hand?
Yeah, just really quick on that vein. My mom used to work in an attorney's office. If you offer to do a free CMA for them, they need that. They're like, if you could just say, hey, if your clients ever need any type of valuation on a house, I'd just like to freely offer my services. That's a good way to get in because they really do need that.
Love this. Absolutely love it. Let's continue on this thread. Patrick, you had your hand up, big dog. And Patrick, by the way, give you a quick moment here. Patrick, what's happening tonight, man? Where are you going? What are you doing? What's on your agenda for this evening before you contribute to the message to market conversation? Let's roll.
Yeah, we go into this dinner. I think so, for top producers, you know what I mean? My first one. So not not my last though, I'll tell you that right now.
That's all right, big dog. Let's roll, man. What do you got for him?
Yeah, no, on that note, we're actually speaking about, I actually just last week, I started getting referrals from my CPA and my life insurance partner because I gave them,
Okay.
I told them, they have some equity in the house. Let me help you out, cash out refinance. I don't even want you to buy or sell from me. I just want to help you out, make some more investments. And so my point is you give them value first and expect value back for sure, especially the professional. But yeah, on the note of political times, I'm having these conversations with a lot of my clients now. And one thing that I tell them is that don't ever let the political times dictate your timeline. You always have your needs and there's always going to be problems, right? There's going to be benefits in every year and every time. So let me tell you about these things. Blah, 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 blah.
Man, Patrick, I absolutely love it. And once again, congratulations on your accomplishments. But I think that that is ideal and it is perfect the way that you phrased this. So, Patrick, I love that. Appreciate you chiming in. Let's see who I have here. Stephanie. Stephanie, let's go to you. And then anybody else who wants to get involved in the conversation. Super proud of you, Stephanie. And congratulations on last week. Obviously, I've already patted you on the back, but once again, let's go, Steph.
Thank you. Thank you. So I just shared a chart in the chat. So the chart is a chart that shows the median income ratio in comparison to the median house prices. So this is something that I use a lot with my clients because I talk about the gap between what we make and the cost of real estate is continuing to increase, right? It's something we've talked about for years. It is happening now more than ever, and it's going to continue to get bigger. And so when I talk to these people, I tell them, look, real estate is not getting any cheaper. Even in this higher rate environment, home prices have still continued to increase, okay? And our wages do not keep up with the cost of real estate. So real estate is absolutely becoming a luxury. And in a few years, hopefully not, I'm hoping it's going to take longer than I think it is, but sooner or later, it's only going to be available for the wealthy. That's just realistic. Over time, the cost of real estate will continue to get higher and our wages just don't keep up, right? There's only so much money people can make. I work a lot with the Hispanic community. I see them working, 2 full-time jobs. It's insane. And I'm like, that people can only sustain that for so long. So this is why I push home ownership so much with my community, because it's just going to get harder. And so I'm like, if you are living in a home with other families and you're renting together, invest together. Invest in real estate now while you still can. Buy that house. Rent, you can rent the rooms to your family members. Whatever it takes to lock something in now to be able to keep that for a couple years, then flip it, take that equity, go buy where you want, right? But just lock in what you can right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we're having this conversation because I want you guys to put in the chat right now, over your course of your time in real estate, when you talk to consumers that are leaving, let's say, the Bay Area and leaving Sacramento and leaving the Central Valley, where are these people going? I want you guys to put that down in the chat. I have my thoughts on where people are going. I've seen the migration charts and and all the data. I want to hear from you guys. Where do you think people are going based on your conversations with consumers? Are they going to a different part of the state? Are they going to a different state entirely? From the Bay Area, are they going up to Sacramento? Put that in the chat right now, where people are going. And I'll pause while you guys get involved in the conversation, and I'll wait. And don't be shy, Wanda, whoever else is on the call, get involved in that chat. Put where you think people are going. Idaho, Texas, Louisiana, other states, Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, more affordable places, Texas, absolutely. And it goes right into Stephanie's point. They leave because they can no longer afford the house based on their income. What the normal person maybe will get a 10% raise if they're in a 9-to-5 type of position. Well, is it safe to say that the housing is going to go up higher than that year over year? In most cases, it is. And so as they're chasing the market, they're saving up, and then these comps are playing catch up, and then we have a big season, houses sell well over asking price. They're like, oh my God, this is completely out of reach. So they're going to these places like Central Valley, like Florida, like Oregon, like Texas, like Atlanta. So Stephanie, I really appreciate that sentiment. And I think that really lands because that's what we've seen. We've seen people say, I can't afford this anymore because I waited too long. Now I have to pack my bags and move somewhere entirely different. So Stephanie, I really, really appreciate this. Anybody else have some thoughts, sentiment? Jeff, I would love to get you involved in the conversation here. Your vantage point, what you're experiencing, what you're seeing at a high level overall from your side. Jeff, you want to chime in?
Sure. I mean, of course, Ashley, Stephanie are going to be, they're going to be the best when it comes to the actual market and what's happening on the ground, but a little bit higher level. We're definitely, with, again, the uncertainty, I almost feel like we've gotten to a point, you remember 3 years ago, mortgage rates kind of shot up and everybody was waiting for a long time. They're going to come down. They're going to come down. They're going to come down. And then at some point, people just kind of accepted, they are what they are at this point. I don't know, probably sometime in 23 or even early last year. Then we get the new administration and we're back on kind of a waiting. Oh, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with the tariffs. And honestly, I think we're getting to the point, and maybe it's part of the season, but people are just getting to the point where it's like, all right, just is what it is. Rates are what they are. And let's just, move forward. There's no more waiting around. There's no more waiting for the other shoe to drop. It might drop or it will at some point. But, I think we just, from a customer, consumer, I don't know, emotional standpoint, they've just started to accept that it is what it is. So, and, I tell Ashley and Stephanie and Christina, we all talk about this. We can't control the market, but we can control how we react to the market. And just like you've been talking about for the last half an hour, we can only control what we can control and who we are and what we do and how we do it, how often we do it. Same with the other conversations that you brought up, health, to, exercising, getting your butt up, eating different. I mean, that's, again, is all on us. We can't control all the noise that's out there, but we can control what we do. So it applies in all aspects of your life, and just embracing that and, realizing that and, moving forward with that is how you become successful, maybe healthier, more emotionally stable. So it's again, I like watching the markets. I enjoy seeing what's happening. I enjoy the dynamics. I enjoy the reports that are coming out, but you can't get too wrapped up in it. You get too wrapped up in it, and then it causes paralysis. So don't get paralyzed.
Yeah, you guys, I appreciate your vantage point on this. I would look around at your new developments, particularly where I am. When you think of Manteca, what's happening in Lathrop, they're building 25,000 new homes here. And as far as the eye can see, you guys have been out here. It's even more crazy now how much they're building in new high schools and Del Webb and a retirement community and new avenues and highways, all these things. So it's just like when the city is planning, they're looking at economic growth, economic development. They're looking at exodus from different, cities like San Francisco and who's coming out here. The developers put a lot of thought into this. Now, what's not going to happen is the developers are not going to put these giant projects into process and start the, construction without a demand, you guys. There is a demand for housing and that's never going to go away. And so, be conscious and conscientious of these things when you're looking at the new developments. Be like, well, shit, there's definitely a high demand. People are not going to spend millions and millions of dollars in development money to build with no demand for these houses, you guys. That is not going away anytime soon. Let's go, Brandy. You have another contribution. I'd like to get a couple more people involved in the conversation. We'll go hot seat and we'll do some popcorn session. Let's go, Brandy. What do you got for them?
So because you brought up like Manteca and River Islands, the sales from March of last year to this year increased from 200 a little over 200 homes to over 500 homes. And the data on that is most of them, the rise in 3 bedrooms were increased by 20%. 4 bedrooms, not so much, but then 5-bedroom homes increased by 2%. So that tells me, one, either people are just getting into a home, the 3-bedroom home standard, family living. And then the rise to 5-bedroom is people are getting smart. They're going, who can we live with? Whether it's families, and going, hey, let's start somewhere, get invested in a city, and then expand. And obviously just with all the new developments, Manteca alone, I think increased by 44%. So yeah, it's crazy.
I love this. Brandy, you've been doing your homework clearly. Really, really good stuff. You guys, before we go on any further, get any other additional contributions from you, I saw this and I wanted to see who has some additional information about this. Maybe our lender partners on the call. Who has seen this and is talking about this right now? This $200,000 offer to first-time home buyers in Cache Valley, as well as Alameda County. Do you guys know about this? Are you talking about this? Have you seen this? It's a $200,000 in down payment assistance covering up to 40% of home purchase price for eligible buyers in Alameda and Contra Costa counties. Has anybody seen this? Does anybody have any light on this? Anything that they want to shed on this? And
I do.
All right, cool. Let's go, Steph.
All right. So yes, it's a new program. It's going to be geared towards low income. So people who make under 80% of the area median income. So the way it works is it's a loan and they charge you 3% simple interest every year. Okay. There's a lot of rules with this too. You have to work within 35 miles of the subject property. So that's the fine print nobody talks about, right? That's huge because a lot of people commute well over 35 miles,
Easy.
Especially in the Bay Area, right? And so I think it's definitely a good talking point, that's for sure, because it's all over the news, right? And everybody's interested in it. I think it's going to fit a very small box of buyers. I don't think it's as good as a product as they make it seem. If you borrow $200,000, you're going to be accruing $6,000 in interest every year on top of the $200,000 that they lent you. You also have to certify annually that you live in the property. So no house hacking, you could never rent it out. Every year, you're going to have to certify you live there. That's huge. It's a little invasive, I think, but it is what it is,
And then the 200,000 is not an equity share that is recouped at the sale of the property in the future?
No, so you pay back your original loan, the 200,000, when you refinance or you sell the property, or if you move out the property and they find out, that'll trigger the payback. But yes, so it's deferred for 30 years. So let's say if you never move out or do anything, you live in that property for 30 years, at the end of the 30 years, you will pay back the original amount that you borrowed plus 3% in simple interest per year that you live there.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So who takes advantage of this program? So obviously we know the details of it, but who is the ideal consumer for this type of program?
Somebody who is extremely low income and will not be able to purchase a home without this program.
That happens to work close by.
That happens to work within 35 miles of the property, because it does, $200,000 makes a massive difference in your monthly payment, but it's going to be difficult because this is geared for low income, right? and then within 35 miles of their home in Alameda or Contra Costa County. So it's going to be, oh, and last thing, there's only 4 million allocated for this program. 4 million. It's going to go like that.
No, that's a couple houses.
Right.
Oh, okay. Ashley, and then Evangeline, we'll come to yours in a moment. Welcome to the TED Talk from the Money Store. We're here for this. Let's go, Ash.
Sorry, one last thing. They also want you to have your own 3 to 3.5% down payment. So not only are you really low income, 35 miles away from your job, but you also have to have your own down payment plus reserves of 1 month. So maybe somebody who's low income, we were talking about it, and Stephanie had suggested like someone who just got divorced or somebody who just got a trust fund or something, because it's hard to save that by yourself when you're that low income. So it's going to be a niche person who's going to be on that list. There is only 4 million, but it's good for marketing, I guess. Get them in and then discuss real options for them.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll go to Evangeline in a second, who's marketed directly to this. But I think, once again, let me be clear on this. This is a time when there's economic uncertainty amongst the consumers. Obviously, we understand where the market is and that people still need to purchase homes. Well, this is a time where you need to be an expert on all the programs out there. Now, create a list, create a cheat sheet for all of your consumers. So when you meet with somebody and you determine that they might have a challenge, you can oscillate through the different programs because you understand them. You've made a curated list and you have done your research on that. There shouldn't be like, oh my God, I got a consumer. What programs are out there? You shouldn't be asking yourself what programs are out there right now. You should be making a running list and you should be communicating with those lenders and our partners to make sure that you really, really understand the dialogue around those different programs. And if you don't understand it, then get a lender involved in your call, like an Ashley, like a Stephanie, to be on your buyer consultation with you. Let's go, Evangeline. What do you got for him?
And to add to all of that, you also need 2% down for closing costs. And priority is going to be given to those that complete their application in entirety. So like there's already homework you could be doing right now before this application opens. But all of this is to say that per Ashley's point with like marketing, it's like I did a video on this both on Instagram and TikTok and got leads from that. It's just a conversation to, it's like clickbait in a way, right? Oh, $200,000 down payment assistance, whatever. You get them through the door, you start talking to them. And as it turns out, they're already looking regardless. And this was just enough to kind of get them off their butt. So, I mean, marketing, why not?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. We are marketers, realtors. And so we need to be able to talk about these things and then capture. It's just like the California Dream for All program. It wasn't for everybody, not everybody qualified. And there's a lot of people that purchased a home with you that didn't qualify for that, or they got in too late. Ashley, one more thing. You just chimed in the chat. What do we got?
We're doing a live tonight at 5:15 to talk about down payment assistance. So if anyone's curious about the programs that are out there, we're going to do a high-level overview of all of them.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Anybody else have any thoughts, sentiment, questions, any dialogue that they want to share, get off their chest? Once again, use the reaction button down below so I don't miss this, but I did catch Heather. Heather, what do we got for him?
Again, sorry, I was scrolling through that thing she's talking about at 5:15 with the down payment assistance. Can I share that so we can have people that aren't fast agents, like if they wanted to get more information about it? Can I share that with?
Yeah, it's public. It's going to be on Instagram Live. Share away to everybody.
Yeah, I have, with the DMs and stuff that I've been doing, I've got made some connections with people that are wanting to utilize first-time home buyer incentives, and so that would be good for them. Thank you.
Yeah, open to all. Make sure that we're there, supporting, contributing with our pins out, ready to, take notes, and then curate that messaging for our consumers. Anybody else have any things that they've been experiencing from a certain area in Sacramento, Central Valley, Bay Area, wherever you're chiming in from? Anybody else have any dialogue that is imperative to the conversation that you want to share? Anybody else have anything that they've been experiencing, witnessing from the listing side, from the buy side, that they'd like to share with the group? Going once, Going twice. All right, cool. Let's start. Oh, there we are. Joanne, rapid fire. You came in late. Let's roll.
Okay, so, I mean, it's not area specific, but I have conversations with a lot of young men, like in their 20s and 30s, at my husband's business. And a lot of them have a sentiment where they say, it's so much cheaper to rent than to buy. I'm just going to keep renting. And I say, yeah, I totally get that. But what you have to think about is, what about in 10 years and 20 years when you have kids? Are you going to be okay living in a one-bedroom apartment? And how much is that one bedroom going to even cost you at that point? Yeah, right now you're paying 1,800 or whatever per month, but in 20 years it's not going to be 1,800, and you're not going to want to live in a one bedroom with your kids. So it's just something to think about, to point out to people that even though right now their rent is so much cheaper, it will be so much more expensive to rent and to buy at that time when they really feel like they need it. So it's better to plan ahead and just buy. Even now it seems expensive, in 10 or 20 years it's going to be so much more expensive and so much less attainable.
Yeah, I appreciate the contribution at a very high level. So thank you for that. I just put another article down in the chat below. And if you are on the team, make sure that you are referencing our market updates channel to make sure that you have all of your industry updates and news. Also, make sure that you download the app 11 Labs. 11 Labs is an amazing app that you can just put any industry articles in, put it in, and it reads to you like a podcast or like an Audible. I've said this over and over again. 11 Labs is a game changer for you. They'll help you when you're between showings, you're on the road, you're stuck in traffic, just like you're listening to Audibles. Use 11 Labs to share or to read the articles for you. So let's go, Wanda. Let's go, KD, and KD will be the last contribution. Let's go, Wanda. What do we got for him?
Hello, team. I wanted to share information about some of the builders in the area. I closed a client last September that got $46,000 from K. Hovnanian Homes, and she doesn't have to pay any of that money back. She did have money of her own. She had about 20,000 of her own, but the money that she was short for them to sell their last home and that development, the builder fronted the money. They wanted to sell the house that bad. And I've seen Meritage Homes over in Manteca. They're giving $17,000 in closing costs right now, and a whole appliance package and window coverings for all the windows. So a lot of the builders are giving that, and plus they're doing that interest rate buy down, where they're doing it where you start out at maybe 5.99 or 3.99, then it'll go up in a year to 4.99, then the next year up to 5.99, being the rest of your 30-year way, where it will be fixed at that point. So they're doing the buy downs. And the reason why my client got so much, they did a 30-year buy down, and she got a 3-point-something interest rate when rates were at 6.8. So that's just one thing that you can do, is start looking at the builders and what specials they have. And they also pay 3%. Some of the builders are paying 3%.
I love this, Wanda. Thank you for your contribution. It's good to see your face. Good to hear your voice. You guys, I'm going to share something with you because a lot of team members don't even know that you have this. Where can you go right now to see a curated list of all the new developments in our area? Where? Take yourself off of mute. Anybody have an answer to that?
Slack.
I mean, Slack, yeah.
There's a channel on there. I think I forget her name, but she updates it.
All right, so check this out. If you guys just
professional.
No. Well, those are good, yes, but I'm going to give you a cheat code. So if you guys just went to our website and you went to fastagents.com and you went up here to this little Team Fast resources and you scroll down to this little guy right down here, it's a new development board. Check this out. You have every single new development in the area and all of the contact information and then the pricing. All the websites are here. You guys can go see if they're sold out, if they're selling now. Everything in here in that area from Solano County, Contra Costa, Alameda, as well as Sacramento, as well as Central Valley. Let me make sure Central Valley's on here. It's everywhere, you guys. It's absolutely everywhere. So y'all have access to that. So if you're thinking like, how do I curate that? How do I go and be specific about what's being built in my area, Manteca, wherever you are? You guys have that list already made for you, and it's updated all the time. Katie, what do we got for a big dog? Let's hear from you.
Hey, so I just added a sheet that I created last night about that kind of mentions everything about list price to sale price percentage. It also shows how many days on the market. So this is real stats I pulled from Bay East stats. So instead of having all the separate sheets, I compiled it into one single sheet, so you know like how the average price is looking like in every city, in Tri Valley and East Bay mostly. So if you have any clients, feel free to take it along with you. This is kind of like giving you an idea of how the market is in every different city.
Yeah, this is cool. I want to look at it when I'm not on this call. I got to rotate it. Let's see. I'll just rotate it here. Man, this is really, really good. So yeah, you guys, there's been quite a few resources that were dropped. Look at what Stephanie dropped, what Ashley dropped, what KD just dropped. You guys take those. I already have all those downloaded in my file box. Make sure that you guys have all of those things so you guys can use those for your communication and for your research. So KD, straight fire. Let's go around the room, get a couple key takeaways as we close our sesh on this beautiful Wednesday. I'm going to go to Anna Pacheco. Anna Pacheco, one key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's roll.
We make the market. We can't get too caught up in everything else. There's people that are still thriving and doing very, very well. I mean, I look around at these Brandy, Brianna, Samandi. I mean, they're doing awesome. So it all is in the work that we put into everything, honestly. Yes, we just need to get out of our head sometimes and turn off the noise.
That's right, Anna. That's right. Jamie, let's hear from you. One key thought, one key takeaway from our time together today. Let's roll.
I'm educating my clients to not look at the doom and gloom on the news, look at some positive things. There's so many other positive things to listen to and look at. I told a client I have a house that's coming on the market tomorrow in Sacramento, and she called me yesterday and said, hey, do you think it's going to sell? I said, do you think it's going to sell? All we need is one good buyer. You don't need 50, you just need one.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. You cannot control this market at all. And things are going to happen. Seasons are going to change. All you can control is yourself. You can control how you market yourself, how you show up, your efforts every single day, how much time you're spending actually prospecting. And when I say actually prospecting, it's unfortunate. A lot of people don't even do the number one thing in our business to actually market and to prospect in our business, right? Find a new business. You get busy doing a bunch of shit that's not moving the needle in your business. Just prospect and do that consistently. Despite what's happening in the market, your action will always win. And I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. How do I know? It's been market tested. It's been proved hundreds and hundreds of times over and over again. Those that stay in consistent, imperfect, gritty action are always going to be the ones that win in every single market. You guys, it's been an incredible session. So hopefully you took something from this. You have some notes. Go out there, create your videos, do what you guys are doing. But I appreciate your contributions. I also want to encourage you. If you're on these calls and you never speak up and you never throw your hand up and you're just laying back in the cuts, I want to encourage you to be bold, throw your hand up, get involved in the conversation, because you, my friend, you have a contribution, you have value, you have a voice, and I want it to be heard in this platform. So you guys have an amazing, amazing day. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and make this a day that matters. Peace.